If you'd say something
Hey
worth
guys,
hearing.
what are you doing?
What does it look like?
Yeah, we're surfing the World Wide Web.
Having trouble divining this one?
Well, let me ask you this. What's your prediction?
Prediction? Yes, prediction.
I'm guessing here.
It's very interesting. How'd you come up with that guess?
Guess? That ain't no guess. That's what it's gonna be.
Wow, cool. Wait a minute. The fuck? Why would you do that?
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Steelers Sanctuary Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Romero from SteelersSanctuary.com. We got Trent and Bob with us today. Dave will not be joining us. We got a little trouble getting all four of us on. That's why the 10:30 start time today. Guys, how's it going this morning?
Wonderful.
Good.
Let's jump right into the injury report. The Steelers and the Seahawks are in a little bit of trouble here. Let me go through the Steelers first. Deshaun Elliott, Joey Porter Jr., and Derek Harmon are out. Nick Herbig will return. That's good news. The Seahawks are going to be without Nick Emenwari and cornerback Devin Witherspoon. The Joey Porter Jr. one kind of snuck up on us.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know he was that hurt in the game, and now he's missing it. Another soft tissue injury, boys. There needs to be an investigation with this freaking.
We cannot avoid soft tissue issues right now. Like it's as soon as they changed,
yeah, 100%.
You know, this new strength and conditioning staff, like it's just something that keeps creeping up. So, like, I mean, I know it hits all teams, but it just feels like it's a lot of prominent players that keep popping up on the injury report for us.
So many Steelers with soft injury. It's incredible. At what point do we? I don't know. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe it's just a bad string of luck. But man, it's a lot. This is a lot.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
sorry, Bob.
It's going to be interesting to see what the secondary does to adjust, because you know, obviously with Ramsey and Slay, we have the depth to cover for it. You would think Brandon Echols will play the nickel here, although there's been reports that they're thinking he's going to play more outside, which I kind of think would be a mistake. But at the same time, the Seahawks, if ever you're going to play a team with Echols on the outside, him playing Njigba one-on-one is probably not as big of a mismatch, because Njigba is really probably best at slot receiver, and right now he's their number one. So I think if any week you could get away with it, because let's face it, you know, and I'm sure we'll get into this, Seattle's game plan is not going to be to throw the ball 40 times.
Right. It's interesting. I go back to like hearing guys talk about Dick LeBeau and the way that Dick LeBeau conditioned players and had their stretch techniques and certain warm-ups and things they did. And they talked about never having these soft tissue issues. So like, is this like new age version of like strength and conditioning that's becoming more of an issue and a liability than it is actually helping players? Or like, is LeBeau was doing very old school stuff and calisthenic type stuff and nothing that's like groundbreaking? And I mean, player after player, if you listen to the way they talked about this guy, they talked about how they didn't have soft tissue issues at Pittsburgh. Even guys that came in from other organizations talked about they had more issues other places than they did with Dick LeBeau. Mm-hmm. This is your defensive coordinator. He's not a strength and conditioning coach. What did he know that our staff doesn't know? That's where I'm at.
Well, I think
dig him up, bring him back.
Yeah, I think that's where you also get into the fact that Dick LeBeau was a Hall of Fame cornerback, and probably knew more about it. And bear in mind, you know, the J.J. Reddicks of the world always discount the players from the 50s and 60s, but Dick LeBeau obviously was a player from the 50s and 60s who wasn't a fucking plumber, who knew how to take care of his body, and you know, fuck JJ Redick. So that's all I have to say about
that. Going back to the how they're going to use the corners, I think they leave Jalen Ramsey the way he was last week, and you put Brandon Echols outside. I think that's a no-brainer. I don't think you mess with what Jalen Ramsey did. You'll be fine with, like you said, this wide receiver core is not exactly going to wow you. So just leave Echols on the outside with Slay, and don't tinker too much with what was one of the only things that worked on defense last week. Jalen Ramsey playing well. I wouldn't mess with that dynamic at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, I do want to say something real quick, because I'm in Fairhope, Alabama for a wedding, which is why, you know, I'm in the business center. But yesterday, tell you a little bit about the power of wearing Steelers gear. Walking around with my daughters in this little beach town here for the wedding, and I walk into this used bookstore with my daughters, and the sister of Gary Ballman, who was a tight end and wide receiver for the Steelers in the 60s, played with Bobby Lane and Big Daddy Lipscomb and all that. And I had to look him up because I didn't know who he was, but he played with the Steelers for 10, 12 years, had a long career. And she talked to me, and she had met Big Daddy Lipscomb and all that good stuff. And, it's just amazing when you wear Steelers stuff. And I don't think any other fan base is like this, where you walk around and you just bump into, you have friends everywhere you go, which in today's really nice to have.
Right.
That's awesome.
But I told her I would give her a shout out on the podcast. So if you're watching, I lived up to it.
There you go.
Bob, a man of his word, a man of the people.
A man of the people.
My daughters were a little frustrated because we stood there talking Steelers for 30 minutes, but hey,
All right. The big news this week, the Steelers signed Jabril Peppers with the Deshaun Elliott injury. That's a pretty good signing overall. I know we went back and forth between him and Justin Simmons there, yeah, but the Steelers settled on Peppers. I think I'd prefer Peppers over Simmons at this point. I don't know what you guys think.
I think with the Joey Porter injury, it probably becomes a little more important. And, of the two, at least you could say Peppers was in a training camp.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they moved on, which, again, still seems like a weird move for them. I know they said he wasn't a roster fit, but at least you got a guy who's a little closer to having live game action. And I'm really surprised at this point. Sounds to me like Simmons might pull an Amari Cooper if he does sign somewhere and just say, I wouldn't be so. If he signs in Denver, ceremonial retirement is coming soon after.
Yeah.
Yeah. I that's a pretty good call out, Bob. I like talking about the fact that Peppers he's in game shape, and we need a guy who's able to step in and play right now. And I think that the other side of the coin with Jabril Peppers is he fits this thing that Pittsburgh's wanting to do this year as far as moving these guys around. They want Jalen Ramsey to be versatile and move around a lot. They're moving around Chuck Clark. They're moving around Juan Thornhill a little bit, and they're trying to disguise their coverages better, at least through week one, than what they have done in the past. And Peppers is a guy that you can do that with also. He's played a ton of snaps in a lot of different spots. So this is a guy that wants and Dave and I were talking about this a little bit before we got live, but if he has the playbook down this week, we might start to see some of it this week. But if not, he's still going to see it probably week 2, week 3, while Elliott's out. I like it. I like the signing.
That's
you got to hope they just put a. Go ahead, Dave.
Go ahead, Bob. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say you got to hope at this point. Terrell Austin's defense is not Dick LeBeau's defense. This isn't the complicated defense of the Steelers' past. You got to hope he's picked up on a lot of it, but at the very least, they have put him, hey, in dime, you're going to play here, maybe I doubt because they play so much nickel, maybe that would be where we don't necessarily see him, but at least in dime or something like that. Then again, maybe we do. I want to believe that he's better than Chuck Clark right off the bat. I know Chuck Clark's going to play, and I thought Chuck Clark did a good job last week. I'm not disparaging him. I just think Jabril Peppers is probably better. And obviously we want Deshaun Elliott on the field as soon as we can. So, it's a nice depth piece, and it could be an interesting piece.
Yeah, you wonder how many snaps he will play this week. He only got signed on Monday?
Yeah.
So he's only been here a week. And I read somewhere where the Steelers only played dime 3 or 4 times last week total. So I don't know.
Yeah.
How many dime snaps he's going to get. It's hard to see him getting a big role this week, but going forward, definitely as long as Elliott's out. And I agree with you. I think he's probably better than Chuck Clark too. That's a better option overall.
He's graded out fantastic. I know none of us are really big PFF people, but he has graded out really, really well over the last couple of seasons.
Yep.
Last year, he missed a lot of time. I think it was only through 6 games, but even the year before where he played a full season, he's graded really, really well. So, it was a confusing move by the Patriots. There may have been more behind the scenes that they're not letting on. They said it was a scheme fit, but maybe he and Vrabel just weren't a good fit together in general. But he fits a lot. Yeah, he fits a lot of what Pittsburgh likes to do, I think, in that role. So like he's definitely better fit probably than Chuck Clark in a lot of ways, and he's just naturally a better player. So depending on how much of the playbook he understands between Monday and tomorrow, I could see him playing 65% of the snaps. If he's not fully up and running, I could see him playing 45% of the snaps. It's going to really be dependent on how comfortable he is in this defense right now. And that's the only thing I think is the key.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on with Vrabel and the Patriots and some of the players. I hear a lot about that out here. Always making some curious decisions. I don't know if he's just trying to reshape the team of what he wants and get rid of anybody that was there before or what. But there's a lot of weird stuff going on up here. The Steelers also signed James Pierre from the practice squad to take Joey Porter Jr.'s spot. I mean, hopefully he won't see much of the field on defense, but
oh God, please don't.
Good old James Pierre. It's like lives on with the Steelers.
Did they really sign him up to practice squad when he played last week? I mean, did they ever really send him back to the practice squad?
I was just reading the moves that they made this week, and maybe they put him back on the practice squad after the game and had to re-sign him again. I don't.
They can bring him up 3 times before they assign him to the actual active roster. So I think this is probably just his second trip up of the 3. So I would say that's probably what this is.
Barring injuries, hopefully we don't see much of James Pierre on defense anyway. I'm sure we'll get some special teams run.
We disparage Sam Darnold a lot, and in my opinion, it's well deserved. On
some of us more than others.
Yeah,
Bobby.
Yes, I am not a fan. This is really going to be, and this is maybe where Peppers factors in a little more. Chuck Clark's a pretty good tackler, but I think Jabril Peppers is that much better. Look, if Seattle's game plan with Pete Carroll is to come out and run the ball 60 times, and let's face it, at this point, why wouldn't it be? Then maybe Peppers becomes more important. But this is, Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt, this is a different kind of running team. Although Charbonnet likes to go in between the tackles, I really think TJ and Alex especially, because I don't think they're going to run at TJ. They're going to run at Alex and Cam. And they have got to set that edge, and they have got to stop Kenneth Walker. Because if they do that, then you got to hope that Y.A. Black is supposed to have a bigger role in this game. You got to hope that Charbonnet is not going to have the success up the middle. They didn't really – San Francisco is not what San Francisco used to be. They didn't really torch San Francisco on the ground, but they were consistent, and they kept running it. So if we're giving up 5 yards a clip, this could be a long day, but I really do. I'm less worried about the secondary in this one. I think we're going to find out a lot about just how good we are in this game. And I think we're better against the run. I mean, God, if we're worse, if Seattle runs the ball for 200 yards, I don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, Terrell Austin had his press conference this week, and he just chalked it up to a bad game, and that they should be fine, and they have no plans whatsoever of moving Benton off the nose. That's a non-issue for them. That's not happening. So Benton's gonna have to put his big boy pants on and make do something he's probably not capable of doing, honestly, because.
Yeah. Did you guys see the stat that over the last 8 games where the highest paid defense in the NFL is averaging giving up 27 points?
Yeah. It hasn't been good.
It's starting with the run game almost every one of these games, if you really think about it, outside of Cincinnati. Baltimore's had a ton of success running both games. Really, the last 2 Baltimore games, the Eagles had a lot of success with Saquon. I mean, we obviously saw what happened week 1, and Seattle was a really good running football team. So I don't know if it gets better until you do something with Keanu Benton. There's a reason Bob and I did that special. I saw it in the preseason, and I'm like, shit, this is no better than it was last year. It was a big concern for me going into this, and it did not get any better week 1. And I don't think it's going to get better week 2 either, to be honest with you.
Would it not
Why would
be
we
the
think it's going to
height-
get better? I'm sorry. We have
No,
enough
no,
evidence
go
to
ahead,
show
Dan.
us. We have enough evidence to see that this is who Keanu Benton is. He's not a nose.
No.
It's not. And then I heard somebody bring up, well, do we think it's going to get any better if he moves over one spot to the end? And well, we don't know till we see it. We know the nose tackle part of it.
I know Trent and I both feel that it will. It absolutely will. Keanu Benton will become a much better player if he gets off the nose and gets into the 3-4 end spot. Because then a lot of this. Go ahead, Trent.
I was just going to say you can protect him if he's the one on the side of TJ Watt. That is a natural deterrent to run at him because you don't want to run at TJ Watt. He's one of the best edge run defenders, if he's not the best edge run defender in the NFL. Like he's a natural deterrent. So like Ben is a good pass rusher. He would be so much better suited in that role than he would on the nose. Y.A. Black, I know he had some ups and downs in the first game, but that kid has a fucking anchor to him that he can eat these double teams and he can just anchor down and hold his own. He's learning the speed of the game week 1. He will get better week 2. I know Bob is super high on him. That kid has a ton of upside. You can see it. You can see it in him. Ben's upside is not there on the nose. It's on the end. I know they want Black to be the end. They've got it backwards in this one. Black can sit and anchor, and in a 3-4, you need that guy at nose tackle. That is what they need to do, and it's just banging your head off the wall watching them repeatedly do this stupidity with Ben.
Which, if the reports are true, and let's say Y.A. Black plays 60% of the snaps this week, and that's what I'm hoping for, is if they'll give him 60%, would it not be the height of stupidity, which means it's probably going to happen, for him to come in the game and not be on the fucking nose? Why would you put him out there with Benton and Hayward and play him at the end, which means he's going to play on TJ's side? Mm-hmm. So not only do you have probably your most capable guy of eating a double team, where he's not going to see a double team. What are they hoping for? The 340-pound lineman is going to break through the line one-on-one and chase running backs down from behind? Seattle doesn't run the ball that way. I don't understand it. I mean, I've just got to hope that if it's true he's playing, I mean, maybe he'll just accidentally end up on the nose because that's where he thinks he should play and tell Benton, get the fuck out of my spot.
Yes.
Then they asked him about why haven't the team drafted a nose tackle specifically for base to eat up. And you could make the argument they did with Y.A. Black, although it's not really their plan. They plan him to use on the end the whole. But beside that, his answer was just so telling. He's like, well, we're not going to draft a player specific for, 20% of the plays because teams play nickel, teams play 3 wide receivers more and more now. They don't. Are you not watching the Steelers games? Teams don't line up with 3 wide receivers against the Steelers anymore. They see the weakness and they line up in base and heavy packages more and more against the Steelers. You got to play them out of that, which means you got to get players that can force them out of that. But the Steelers, it's just on defense. Just doesn't seem to be a coherent plan or self-scouting where, okay, we're going to watch the film. This guy's not working. Let's move. Let's make it. They don't do it. They stubbornly stick to their guns. And it's like, what are we doing?
I'll add this point to this as well, because the other part of this, to me, Y.A. Black being able to anchor down will make Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen both more effective.
Yeah.
He will make them much better football players because the linemen can't climb to the second level. At the same pace they're climbing to the second level right now to get these guys, you have to open up. You got these guys who can run 4-4 at linebacker, 4-5 at linebacker between the two guys. And Holcomb can run too. You want to force these teams to the edge. And honestly, Kenneth Walker wants to go to the edge. That's why I think we're going to see a heavy dose of Zach Charbonnet. I know we're not fully into the Seattle part yet, but Y.A. Black will deter the run up the middle, which is killing us. And it'll allow the 2 linebackers to play in space, play faster, play more aggressive. They will be able to get off of these blocks because the blocks won't be able to climb up to them and catch them before they're able to react. That's the issue, I think. And I know everybody's killing Peyton Wilson. I know everybody's killing Patrick Queen right now on social media. I'm telling you right now, it is not their fault entirely. They do have blame. It is not their fault entirely. This is not how this defense is set up for a linebacker to play. They should be playing in space free. Think about Foot and Ferrier in those days when they had Casey Hampton in front of them.
Yep.
They could pick their lane and go where they had to go and attack the ball. That's not happening right now because these linemen, they're blowing Benton so far off the ball right now that the linebackers don't have a lane. They're just trying to weave through traffic, and they're too small to weave through 300-pound linemen. I mean, you're talking about 245-pound Peyton Wilson, and Patrick Queen's right around the same weight. He's not much different. Like, they're too small to get off of these 300-pound linemen's blocks. That's the issue.
You know, and I'm not the biggest Elandon Roberts fan, but I think Dave had a great point on this on Monday. This is where they do miss a bigger, more physical linebacker like Roberts because, you know, he can fight through that. But it's still 4 yards down the field. It's not like he would be the magic elixir. But the bottom line is you know, and look, I think Cole Holcomb should have played some last week, but he's not a big guy either. Yeah, he's in this. The only difference is that the one quarrel I have with Wilson last week, and again, I'm a huge Peyton Wilson fan, is the angles he took to the ball where there were the holes on the plays where Black did eat a double team and there was just a nice hole for the running back to go through. He should have been there clean, and it should have been a one-on-one. Let's see who's the man and can stop the play here. You know, running back's going to win that sometimes, but the linebacker should win that sometimes.
Sure.
That was my quarrel with Peyton Wilson last week.
Sure.
And let's not forget this. He's only a second-year guy, and he didn't start last year either, so he's still learning on the job too. I mean, Trent's point is a great one because you've designed this defense to have athletic guys on the second level and smaller guys. But if you can't stop, you know, if you can't be stout on the line, then everything else behind it becomes kind of moot. You know, you're asking, like you said, smaller linebackers to take on offensive linemen, try to make plays. It's the Achilles heel of this defense, and it has been for a while.
Yeah,
where they can't stop the run because they're not, you know, they don't have that player, especially on the nose. And even if you kick Keanu Benton to the outside, I guess, like Trent said, he's got TJ Watt to protect him a little bit. But it just bothers me the way this defense is designed because they care more about pass rush with their defensive linemen than they do stop the run. They make that clear.
Which didn't used to be the case. Dick LeBeau, those 3-4 guys in Dick LeBeau's offense, Aaron Smith, Brett Kiesel, Casey Hampton, they were there to eat blocks and let Foot and Ferrier eat.
Yeah,
sure.
Tomlin's goal is to rush with 4 and cover with 7. That's his goal. That's a nice, safe defense that he wants. And it can work, but then you get gashed in the run game. Mm-hmm. So it's very frustrating. Do you want to get to Bernard's question?
Yeah, kind of a change of pace. I'll just go first on this. I'm telling you right now, the fact that Aaron Glenn thought it was a good idea to fly Aaron Rodgers across the country to say in 5 minutes, I don't fucking want you, that you don't do that to a 4-time MVP and a Hall of Famer. You don't do that, especially if there's any chance you're going to see him down the road. You text him, you call him on the phone, or if you do bring him, at least take the guy out to fucking lunch and say, hey, man, I think we're going to go in a different direction. We really appreciate, but to snub him, I mean, why don't you just insult his mother? I mean, I don't get it. Did he not think he was going to sign somewhere? Did he think, hey, I'm just going to tell this guy like it is, and he's going to retire? Yeah, there's some bravado to that, I guess. And I like Aaron Glenn. I think he's going to be a good coach. But this was a mistake. This was stupid.
Yeah, I got to agree. You wonder how much of that was Aaron Glenn and how much of that was the organization who was kind of pissed off at Aaron Rodgers for last year for whatever reason. If they forced Aaron Glenn probably said, look, he's not my quarterback. Just tell him. And they're like, no, we're going to fly him out here. Who knows? The Jets organization's a disaster. So it could have been any number of things. I don't know if I'd put it squarely on Aaron Glenn. I think he's a smart guy. I don't think he would do something purposefully that dumb, but who knows? Maybe
And I still think he's going to be a good coach. I mean,
I do too.
Look, I respect the balls of it. I don't think it was particularly smart, but
it seemed personal. Like it almost felt personal. Like
It really did.
to fly him out there and do that to him and waste everybody's time. Even like the ownership group, the coach, the organization. Like, why would you guys want to waste your time even going to the facility for this? I mean, I could see it if they were doing this in the right way and just telling him like, hey, listen, the organization's trying to go a different direction. Obviously, we didn't end where we wanted to end last year. We're going to try to get younger quarterback. Like, okay, great. Like that would be a discussion that's worth having in person. But to like basically slap the dude on the face, and when you talk about bulletin board material, I mean, you gave this fucker a fucking mountain list of bulletin board material and doing that in 5 minutes, like. And you could tell Aaron was fired up in that game. I mean, it was personal to him. Like,
Of course. Of course.
I mean, I went right back to the Michael Jordan meme from like The Last Dance. It felt personal. Like that was Aaron Rodgers on the sideline Sunday. He was saying that repeatedly.
And conversely, I think that's why Justin Fields played so well. I think it was personal for him too. I think
it was.
I said it on the podcast last year when they benched him and went to Russ. I said, you just guaranteed Justin Fields is not going to re-sign. Oh, you're wrong. You don't know what you're. Well, that was goes in the Bob was right file because he got pissed. I knew he was. You could tell the kid was pissed. Why would he not be pissed? I'm playing the best football in my career.
Yeah.
I like it here. Hey, this is working. It can only get better. Arthur Smith is saying, I like the kid. I can work with this.
Yep.
You know, the biggest mistake they made last year was not going back to it's after the Chiefs game.
Yeah,
you go back to Fields for the Ravens. You just do. At that point, it's 3 in a row. Stop the bleeding. Let's get Fields back out there and see what happens. And they didn't do it. Even in the playoff game, who knows what that playoff game looks like if all of a sudden the Ravens have to contend with Justin Fields running around.
But they didn't run around. That's part of the problem. They really didn't use him like the Jets used him yesterday. Last week.
Yeah.
That they didn't. They kind of avoided that for whatever reason. It's chalk that one up for another confusing Steelers strategy. I mean,
that's Tomlin.
Tomlin. Yeah. I try to resist blaming him all the time, but it is him. It really is Tomlin. Just bad decision after bad decision. I mean, look at the kid. I mean, that's probably the best you'll see out of Justin Fields. That's probably the best game he's going to have. That's his ceiling, but it's still pretty good.
That's a damn good ceiling. You put 32 up on us.
Yeah, it's better than Russell Wilson. I can tell you that. But you got to use him right. You got to be willing to use his legs and his arm. We screamed about that.
Let's say he goes out against if he goes out against Buffalo and puts up 28 points, or 20, even if he only puts up 21 points, but he doesn't turn the ball over. Ball security is the thing with Justin Fields, and if he has learned to take care of the ball, he has a certain future in the NFL where he can be not a top 10 quarterback, but he can be that 10 to 20. I'm good enough to get you to the playoffs. And if I'm on a Jalen Hurts Philadelphia Eagles team, hey, maybe we can win some playoff games. You know, if it's, I mean, if you don't know the stat, Justin Fields has never won a game where the opposing team has scored, I think, 24 points. Or no, 18. Yeah. Any team that scored more than 18 points, he's never beaten that team.
Really?
Yeah. I thought it was a wacky stat, but it's true. I looked it up.
That's crazy.
That is kind of crazy. Listen, he looked really, really good last week, and credit the Jets organization for building that offense and the offensive play calling around his strengths. I mean, that read option was tearing our run defense apart. They didn't know where to go.
Yep. And
they weren't, for whatever reason, prepared for it. I mean, you'd think you'd know what the kid's capable of, but then again, we didn't use him, so maybe they didn't. I don't know. No, maybe nobody for Pittsburgh's ever seen his Chicago tape. But I mean, even the throws. I mean, he made throws in that game, like tight window throws. I know Juan Thornhill was really close on one, but he fitted in there. Patrick Queen was really close on a couple. He fitted in there. I mean, I think we saw kind of peak Justin Fields in that Sunday game, and the Jets used him in all the right ways. And I feel like it just built his confidence, and that's why he was making the throws. We didn't do that. You know, so both organizations probably came out ahead. Aaron's what Tomlin likes. Fields obviously looked really good week 1 for the Jets, but I think the way that they all went about it was wrong. The way we treated Fields was wrong. The way Glenn and the Jets organization treated Rodgers was wrong. So it was kind of a wash from both ends, I think.
Yeah, and in this case, 2 wrongs might actually make a right for both of them.
Sure.
And the reason we thought you were wrong about him being pissed and leaving the Steelers is the kid handled it so well. And Justin Fields did not complain a peep about being benched, about staying on the bench. One thing you can say about him is he's a great kid, and he's not one that's going to rock the boat. Maybe to his detriment a little bit, because maybe if he made a bigger stink, something would have been different.
Speaking of great kids, I was happy to see this in chat this week. Trent has some feelings about our man who is probably the most hated man in Steelers Nation right now, Broderick Jones.
I love Broderick Jones. I think that kid's a great kid. I mean, if you could point me to 20 first-round picks in the NFL right now that could handle the situations that kid's handled with the grace that he's handled it with, the humility he's handled it with, the attitude has never faltered. I mean, this kid has a great, great attitude. I want him to succeed because of the person that he is and the way that he's going about his business. He's taken full ownership for all of his struggles each year in the NFL so far. And he did it again on Sunday. And I thought it was really telling the way that Aaron came to his defense in Aaron's press conference. I mean, Aaron really came to Broderick's defense, and there's probably 2 sides of this. Number one, it's self-preservation. That's your left tackle. You need your left tackle to have confidence and to play well. But I don't genuinely get the feeling that Aaron has an issue with Broderick. I think he feels okay with Broderick being his left tackle, and I think Broderick's going to hopefully continue to get better. McDonald was a really tough matchup for him. We talked about it in the week leading up to it. I felt like McDonald was a really, really bad matchup. Just his play style, the speed he plays with, that is not Broderick's strength. I just think that I really like the kid, and I really hope he pans out, not even just for the sake that he was our first-round pick, just the way he's handled himself and conducted himself. I really like the kid a lot.
Yeah, he's a good kid. There's no doubt about it. I mean, another guy haven't heard one complaint from a guy who should be complaining about the way they use him, the way they moved him to his unnatural position, and kind of set his career back a couple of years. You haven't heard anything complaints. Mm-hmm. Having said that, he's got to be a lot better than he was last week. And I get it. Will McDonald's a tough matchup for him. I get that.
Yeah,
but there's tough matchups, and then there's, he almost to the point of embarrassing himself last week. He was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know if his future's at tackle. I've heard some people bring up maybe he could be a guard, and we kind of say these things flippantly, like smooth positions, but I don't know if Broderick Jones' best position isn't guard somewhere down the line in his career. I just don't know. And who do you blame for that? Is it Steelers? We talked about it when he was drafted. He was a project. He was a kid that needed to work, that, his footwork and everything else. He just relied on athleticism in college. And the Steelers have done nothing to help him out in that regard.
No.
Nothing.
And let's be honest, that's all the more reason why you don't move a project out of position, because you've already got issues to correct. You don't go and create a whole new set of issues, which is what they did with that kid. And this is probably why I'm such a Broderick fan, and I'm glad to see Trent recognize it too. This is a guy who, in the height of his struggles last year, was like, I just play where they tell me to play, and I do the best I can do. And the guy he's an easy guy to root for. I know, I get it. You watch the tape. Oh my God, he sucks. This isn't a Dan Moore who says, fuck you, I play left tackle and you can't move me. And we move heaven and earth to keep the guy, the 4th round draft pick over the 1st round draft pick, where he's comfortable, because he can't play on the other side. He can't play on that side either. Just ask the Titans fans. I think, as a matter of fact, I don't know how it graded out at PFF, but he actually gave up more pressures than Broderick, which, imagine how impossible that sounds. But if you watch that game, it was really bad. It was really bad. I mean, I that's why I like that kid. I hope he succeeds. It's the same thing for Fatanu. I mean, I still don't like the draft pick, but he's another easy guy to root for. You know, we haven't had easy guys to root for the last 5 or 6 years, and these two kids are.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's just, at what point, you know, do we start looking at the offensive line coach? I know a lot of the fans and people on X do, but the Steelers, did they not see this? It's just year after year of just bad offensive line play. I don't know.
The scary thing is, do they actually see it and think it's good?
Oh boy.
I
Well, you can make excuses for Mason McCormick and Zach Frazier and say, look where they're at versus, you know, Broderick Jones. Now, first of all, I disagree with Bob on this one. Troy Falatoni was a phenomenal fucking pick. I love that kid. I think he's going to be an absolute stud. And the question was, should he have stayed at left tackle and Broderick stayed at right tackle? In my opinion, I think there was a better argument to be made there, but they wanted Broderick to be the left tackle because he's got the size and the athleticism. And you have that height difference with Falatoni, even though the arm length is there. Like, so there's a lot of arguments going back and forth about that. But I think Falatoni is going to be a really good player. You got to remember, this is basically game 2 for him that we saw.
Yeah.
He's going to continue to get better.
And in fairness, he's probably shown he's, of the two, probably as of right this second, more competent than Broderick is.
I don't
you know,
think there's any
and
question
John's
about that.
pointing out, you know, Washington, you know, and Trent made this point the other night too. Washington can make a big difference here. He really can.
He could, but the Steelers going to do it because I'm still waiting for them to do it. Like, to give Broderick Jones more help with Washington. They don't seem to want to do it.
This is the game to really do it though, because, you know, getting into the Seattle, you know, first of all, if you watched our lead up to the draft coverage, I love Nick Immonwari. I think he's the next great safety in the NFL. I know Trent doesn't feel the same way, but the fact that Witherspoon is not going to play in this game is big. Do we have a number 2 wide receivers? 2 out of the 3 of us think we do. 1 of us doesn't. But the fact that, you know, you've got to put now Tariq Woolen on DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin and the tight ends who I think are going to be the big key to this game against, you know, an inferior secondary. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think you could max protect with Washington here and not lose a whole lot. So yeah, I think this is a good point by John. At least in this game, let's build Broderick's confidence and let Darnell help him.
We overplayed our hand with Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth on the field at the same time last week too. Let's point that out because there was situations where we're down at the goal line and you had both of them in the game, and Jonnu Smith blocking an end and gets absolutely destroyed, and then gets Jaylen Warren essentially killed at the goal line.
Yeah,
I mean, this is where you drafted Darnell Washington for a reason.
Yeah,
put that motherfucker in there to eat.
Yes,
and these guys alive. Like, you don't want Jonnu Smith on an end. I'm sorry.
You're trying to be truth tricky. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you know, we're gonna pass. You know, trying to make the defense think they're passing, and then Jonnu Smith gets killed. You're right. It's just trying to outsmart themselves. KR makes the point here. He never liked Pat Meyer, and that I made this point a lot too. That name me a Steelers offensive lineman who's improved in the Pat Meyer era. Name me one. That's improved.
I mean, you could kind of say Zach Frazier, but I think it has absolutely nothing to do with Pat Meyer.
No,
I think it has everything to do with how great that kid is.
Yes.
I mean, he's right. We had a perfectly fine James Daniels, who was, you know, an average guard, but a decent guard. And his play seemed to dip once Pat Meyer got here because he forced everybody into his system, which is kind of a unique kind of, I can't explain it as well as some other guys can, but from what I've read, it's kind of unique the way he wants the guys to pass block and all this. And it's just, I don't know what the Steelers see in him because the results on the field.
Well, I think if you look at the way that the tackles specifically play in his system, they're always in retreat first. And if you watch some other teams, and like, I'm going to use bad examples here, but like if you watch San Francisco, for example, and you watch Trent Williams and the way he pass protects, or Joe Alt for the Chargers, they're not in like this full retreat mode right off the bat. They're trying to get that punch out there quick and slow the pass rush down. And especially for a guy like Broderick Jones that struggles against speed rushers, that would help him because he has the athleticism and he has the strength to play with these guys. But when they get their first full step in, they're gone. And that's the issue, is he's retreating right on the snap of the ball instead of having that punch in the attack right off the bat to at least get a hand on the shoulder. And I know Broderick Jones has a pretty shitty punch, but again, I think that goes back to the Pat Meyer issues, is he's not teaching the punch to be effective and slow these speed rushers down to allow somebody like him to really learn how to eat that block up and hold his own. Because you saw Will McDonald also start using speed to power in that game, and that caused one of those issues where he had Broderick Jones just absolutely on skates, and there was nothing Jones could do about it. And I think that's a system, when you want to talk about Pat Meyer being an issue, that's the issue, is you're in straight retreat mode, and these speed guys are eating the tackles alive instead of allowing the tackles to kind of have some attack to them first and then get into the retreat because they've slowed the guy down. That's the biggest issue, I think, for Broderick and possibly Fautanu, but Fautanu handled it a little better.
Our man Sid here is becoming a loyal follower. Look, here's the thing. I want to kind of see if Anthony Richardson can punt.
You got to take shots at Anthony Richardson.
I know we can't get away from him. Look, I mean, honestly, at this point, you know what he might be a really good thing at? Maybe like a linebacker. I know we've thought tight end, running back. Hey, maybe he could be like Bettis and have the halfback pass in his repertoire.
He's going to be a quarterback. Maybe not a good one, but he's going to be a quarterback.
He'll look great at the CFL or XFL.
That's where it's going, unfortunately, for him.
He looks awesome holding a clipboard. I mean, he can hold the fuck out of a clipboard.
Oh boy, the Anthony Richardson slander is getting bad.
John's got a kind of an interesting point here about the fixer uppers and things like that. I don't know that they feel like they're risking Aaron Rodgers' health. I mean, I know a lot of fans do when you put him behind that offensive line, but I think that's a valid thing to have. And we'll talk about quarterbacks in the months coming up, but are you really going to draft a quarterback to put it? Let's say they do go out and pick one of these fixer-upper quarterbacks. Who the fuck's going to do that on the Steelers?
That's a concern for me.
Someone in.
Yeah, this coaching staff with a rookie quarterback just terrifies me. I mean, we saw it with KP. Maybe Kenny Pickett's not the greatest quarterback in the world, but they didn't do anything to help him either. And
wouldn't it be the most Raiders thing if in 2 years Kenny Pickett all of a sudden leads the Raiders to the playoffs?
We shit on Kenny Pickett, and he's not a good quarterback, but I think he's a competent. He's not a disaster. He's not Anthony Richardson disaster.
Yeah,
he's a backup quarterback is what it comes down to. He could probably get you in and out of a few games without embarrassing him, but obviously the top end talent's nowhere near first round.
And does he turn into a Jim Plunkett down the road where, former first round pick washes out and all of a sudden 10 years later has a resurgence?
And wins the Super Bowl? No.
Yeah.
He's not that good. But to the main point of this coaching staff and how it would develop a quarterback, that terrifies me. Because the more we see this quarterback class, I think you guys will agree, there's some holes in this class. These quarterbacks have not looked great so far.
No,
hey,
in college. So
I don't know if you guys saw this, but Ben really went off on Broderick. I just got one thing to say, and I love Ben, but you stuck up for fucking Dan Moore. You could shut the fuck up, Ben, about this. I mean, you're sitting there telling us how much you like the fact that Dan Moore would always help you up after he got you sacked. Aaron seems to think the same about Broderick. So until Aaron starts complaining about Broderick, sit this one out.
Well, I'd kind of argue that his judgment was clouded because he played with him and they were clearly friends, or he clearly liked Dan Moore.
Yeah.
This is more of an unbiased view from Ben, just looking at it without the bias of liking the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen to him, he thinks Aaron Rodgers is going to be killed by week 3 if this kid, and he's probably right. It has to get better. It just has to, because Aaron Rodgers is not going to make it through the season with games like that.
And really, until we see, he's got a couple of weeks where I don't feel like, look, they're good defenses, but I don't think he's going to see a ferocious pass rush for a couple of weeks. This is the time to work it out against Seattle, against the Patriots. Good defenses, but not killer. Like McDonald was a killer. You got to get him ready for that next killer. And I think the next couple of weeks, the killers are on the inside, not on the outside.
The worry this week is that Seattle's coach is a defensive guy. He's known for like sim blitzes and confusing offenses. This is going to be a challenge for the Steelers offensive line. Can they, communicate? Maybe this won't be the Broderick Jones show, but it's going to test how well prepared they are.
Do you want to get into the Seattle game?
Yeah.
Just continue to talk about that, because I honestly believe this should be a game. I know Colin and Bob talked a lot about the tight end usage in this game. I think, especially now that we know that Eamon Worry's not going to be there and Witherspoon's not going to be there, if we don't see DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin, and hopefully we get a Roman Wilson sighting in this goddamn thing. If these guys don't eat this secondary alive that's already not that good, I don't think the blitzes matter, if I'm being honest with you, because we should be running a lot of short game. Well, same things we saw with DK Metcalf last week. Get him in space with these quick hitter slants and quick outs and things like that to let him run after the catch and continue to build on the yak that we saw against the Jets. That's where we need to be in this game, and just completely diffuse the Seattle blitz game and just take it completely apart from the start. We already know the offensive line is an issue, so go ahead and hit your quick game and get it out there. And, maybe they will use some screen game with guys like, Jonnu Smith, like they tried to do, but maybe not have like, Calvin Austin is one of your lead blockers on those. Like, let's get somebody bigger in there, like maybe Ben Skowronek, somebody who might block someone, and see if we can turn that into something. But I think the quick game and the passing game is probably going to be the most effective way to beat Seattle. And we fucking got to establish some run. I mean, 30 yards is just an embarrassment. We've got to do something there.
Yeah. I do think one thing you got to watch with the Seattle defense is Ernest Jones is, I don't want to say underrated. I don't necessarily love that word, but that guy is a really good cover linebacker. So it'll be interesting to see. I think this is send a guy down the seam and make Jones go with him, but in the spot underneath is where you want to throw the ball. Is clear Jones out, and I feel like the 7 to 10 intermediate passing game, which is good for Aaron because he doesn't have to hold the ball as long. Those crossers hit Pat, maybe send Jonnu down the seam or Pat down the seam. Pat's a really good route runner in the seams. So maybe send Pat down the seam, have Jonnu kind of, find that 5 or 6 yard hole and let him do some work in the middle of the defense. Seattle was pretty good against the run last week against San Francisco. So I don't know that you want to go out banging your head into that wall. Let's soften them up. Let's use the intermediate passing game, the short passing game like Trent's talking about. And I think we can eat. I think the fact that Witherspoon and Eamon Worry are not playing are a big key. That's where we can exploit and hurt this defense. And I saw, I think it was KR mentioned Broderick is going to get tested against Leonard Williams. He doesn't normally play there, but you're right. Seattle's coach is a defensive guy. If I was watching tape, I'd be like, okay, who's our best guy? He's going against Broderick. And let's see what happens. But if they keep Mount Washington there to max protect, I don't think Leonard Williams can get through Mount Washington.
Yeah, they'll probably be running more DeMarcus Lawrence, Boye Mafe. Mafe, actually, he's going to be an underrated matchup in this one because he's a speed guy out of Minnesota too. He had a pretty decent year last year. Nothing like that's a stat wise, but matchup wise against Broderick Jones could be very interesting.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair to McDonald. McDonald's a much better player, but he
much better player, similar type body type. Yes, yeah. I'm not saying
archetype. Archetype is similar.
Yes. And how long do you think it's going to take opposing defenses to take the short and intermediate away from the Steelers? and try to make them go deep or make them run.
Please do. Let DK Metcalf run 1-on-1 down the sideline.
Yeah,
please do.
That takes time. Like I think somebody brought up in the chat, that's going to take some protection to get DK deep. That's the one saving grace is that they have DK Metcalf.
The one difference in DK over George, though, I will say, because when we first happened, I kind of made the point they're similar receivers. The one thing about DK is George Pickens has to get about 20 yards down the field to get enough separation for that one-on-one ball. DK has to get about 8. And there's a big difference. So he could throw the deep go ball a lot sooner to DK than he could to George Pickens. Because DK, if he gets you on his hip, I'm sorry, there is nobody in the NFL who can come over the top of that monster and unless it's a bad throw. If it's a good throw, that's a completion. It just is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You play one safety over the top and force the rest of the guys to win one-on-one. That seems
Right.
to be
which opens up the intermediate passing game, which is, that's why you got to pick your poison. I think Trent's right.
They do.
Good luck going one. I don't think any defensive coordinator walks out there and say, boy, they're killing us with the short and intermediate passing game. Let's play DK Metcalf one-on-one, see how that works for us.
Yeah, but
I would feel better if I'm Seattle. I would feel better about eliminating the deep ball with DK Metcalf and continuing to have the guy over the top on that side than I am trying to take away the short game, because eventually you're going to bank on the fact that Broderick Jones or someone on the offensive line screws up and they get to Aaron and it's a drive killer. If you let DK Metcalf go one-on-one, this dude is a freaking touchdown waiting to happen in a one-on-one situation, because not only can he go up and get the ball and he's big and tall and strong, he can run away from you in a hurry. Like, he's got that kind of speed. I mean, he is the speed of Roman Wilson with the size of an absolute freaking monster. So you don't want to put your secondary in that situation. I would bank on the short game and something going wrong before I let DK Metcalf one-on-one on a depleted secondary.
I was more thinking like teams dropping linebackers because they don't really have fear of the run game. So you're dropping linebackers in that intermediate route and take that stuff away. There's ways around this. The Steelers are kind of one-dimensional on offense. It's the quick passing game, right? They don't have a run game, and they'd have the deep pass.
I think it's a little early to say we don't have a run game. Let's see how we do against Seattle.
I think they're going to struggle against Seattle. I don't think there's going to be.
They're not going to run for 200 yards against Seattle, but I do think they'll have more success against this defense than they did against the Jets.
I think the short intermediate game, so Seattle will obviously adjust to that. And if they drop linebackers, great, because that's going to open up the run game.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's different variations of how the game can play out. So like if Seattle's going to drop their linebackers in coverage, that means they're going to be a nickel most of the game. And they're going to be trying to get guys out in space and have 7 DBs or 6 DBs on the field with the linebackers dropping into these short intermediate areas. And that should allow the offensive line to climb to the second level to get to the linebackers, so they're not blowing up the run game the way we saw the Jets do it last week. And that should give Jaylen Warren, who has a lot of burst. I mean, we talked about he looks like the fastest guy out of the backfield right now.
Oh, he definitely is.
Should give him some room to operate. And something he does well, he does work well in short spaces. So like if he can get a little bit of a head start, he can make something happen. So like you have some really good interior guys. Bob's talked about this quite a bit with Seattle. If you can get the linebackers to back off to allow the offensive line to climb to the second level, like we want that intermediate pass game to open the run game in this one. I think that's the only way we have success running the ball.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And this is a question for Trent for sure.
God, please, for the love of fucking God, get Kenneth Gainwell off the field in running situations.
Everything we're hearing, boy, the Steelers are absolutely smitten with Kenneth Gainwell. They fucking love him. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think Gainwell is going to be a big part of this game plan throughout the season.
Is Kenneth Gainwell the Cordarrelle Patterson without the meal plan?
Yes. with the vision of Najee fucking Harris because he missed all the goddamn cutbacks last week. Jesus fuck, get him. He can catch the ball all he wants. He can be on third downs all he wants. Quit giving him the football in the run game. He sucks.
I'm a little disappointed with the lack of burst in him too. There was a couple times, I think I mentioned this last week, where he could have got the edge and made a big play, and he just doesn't have the wheels to do it. So, yeah, I don't know.
Our man Greg breaking Dave's heart.
Adam Schefter reported that Dolphins aren't interested in trading. That's bullshit. I want to tell you right now. That thing's ready to explode. Implode, I should say.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill will not – he might not be a Steeler, but he will not be a Dolphin by the trade deadline. He'll be gone.
Look, if the Chiefs lose to the Eagles, which is possible.
That's a very good
It's more than
destination.
possible.
Yeah.
Do the Chiefs say, okay, whatever we got to do, get Tyreek back?
It's possible. There's no
They
better
should.
coach in the league than Andy Reid in handling guys like that too.
Mhm.
He just takes these guys that are locker room cancers and turns them into productive players. He does it all the time.
They definitely should. They should be very motivated to do that.
Since got a good not Anthony Richardson point here. This could be a game where Roman Wilson shows up because this is, those intermediate crossers are someplace where I think Roman Wilson can live.
Yeah. And if he doesn't show up, then you start to question his role for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, I mean,
If Calvin Austin has one more good game, you could start to see Roman Wilson fade into the sunset because they're going to keep playing Jonnu Smith a lot, and he will play out of the slot a lot. They don't need Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin to be effective. They need one of them to be effective. Jonnu Smith's going to be your other guy. I know a lot of fans like Roman Wilson, but I'm just telling you right now, Jonnu Smith is going to be playing a lot.
Somewhere Colin is dying inside.
I don't know if Jonnu Smith's the answer as the slot / third receiver / third option.
They paid
know if
him.
that works.
You know he's playing. They paid him.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. They have this vision
He is till
of
he
being
isn't.
this running football team, smash mouth, tight ends on the field, and it's just I don't see it. I just don't.
Maybe
we'll see.
Maybe we're reading this wrong. Maybe they think they're a smash mouth passing team. They're going to play all their big giant tight ends and DK Metcalf, who's might be the biggest guy in the history of the NFL. I don't know. I mean, he seems like
Certainly the
he's
biggest guy that
9
runs
feet
that fast. That's for sure.
Yeah.
tall. I mean, good Lord, that guy. How did Mississippi ever lose a game with A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf? Oh, I forgot Lane Kiffin. Never mind.
Lane Kiffin's a really good coach. I know you don't think his offense translates to the NFL, and it probably doesn't. But as far as a college coach, I don't see how you can have much argument with him.
In fairness, I don't think Lane Kiffin was coached when DK was there. I just,
That's a
shots
good
there.
question.
You got to
Probably wasn't.
Yeah.
You want to flip over to defense? This is a game where the defense should eat. I mean, the wide receivers are not very impressive for Seattle. I know Njigba's pretty good.
He's kind of it.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp. We'll see, but it seems like he might have lost a step. You stop the run, you win the game, right? Like, pretty much that simple. You keep Seattle from running the football, and you probably should win this one comfortably.
Watch Walker in the passing game. We're going to see exactly how great a cover linebacker Peyton Wilson is because I don't feel like they used Walker in the passing game effectively last week, and I don't think they're going to do that 2 weeks in a row. That guy's way too important to their offense to really kind of ignore him 2 weeks in a row, unless he's hurt and we don't realize it. But I really want to see that's a key matchup to me is Peyton Wilson and Kenneth Walker in space. Who wins that battle?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a good call out. I listen, Cooper Kupp is washed. I said in the offseason when everybody was like, oh, the Steelers could trade for Cooper Kupp. Listen, he's definitely lost a step. You could see it last year. I mean, his separation rate was god awful compared to his career averages, and it's been slowly declining. He's washed, and I don't think there's any way around that. And Jigba's their only real weapon in the pass game outside of the running backs, and that's going to be the interesting part. Bob probably has a good point. Kenneth Walker is very good in the pass game. They set up some screen game pretty well when they run it. They don't run it enough, but they probably should run it more against us with TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith to try to slow them down. But I would put the ball in Darnold's hand in this game all game long and let him just win us the game.
Yeah,
You would
and
if you were the
KR's asking about Ramsey here. I don't expect to see Ramsey on Jackson Smith and Jigba. I mean, unless he just happens to line up in the slot. I don't think he scares them. They're happy. I think Slay or Eccles can play him no problem.
I wouldn't say no problem, but yeah, we talked about it earlier. I wouldn't move Ramsey around. I would leave him in his spot that he played last week and let him, play all different positions and confuse the defense. Let, Eccles and Slay.
It could be like Garrett Wilson last week. They made the adjustment. They said, okay, all right, he's killing us. Jalen, shut that shit down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice card to have.
Yeah. Zone defense helps out your run defense as well. So, you're probably going to see more zone defense than you are man-to-man in this one, especially because they don't have man beaters and they don't really have, Cooper Kupp's made a career out of finding zones. But I just the Seattle offense doesn't scare me outside of the run game, to be perfectly honest. So I would probably expect to see a lot of zone coverage in this one.
I expect this offensive line isn't very good either. TJ better have a big game.
Yeah, this is a TJ game, and what you would think, or you could go off. And Sam Darnold's a sitting duck back there sometimes. So, all right, anything else from this game? You want to get to legendary NFL picks?
Yeah, let's flip it over to the picks.
Let's do it. Bob, show them.
Let's
show them the rankings.
Props. Hold on. First week wasn't as good for everybody else, but there was a Dave rides the roller coaster.
There you go, baby. First place.
First place. That'll be interesting. So,
and picking up the rear back here.
Boys. The race for second is on. All right, let's start it out. The Buffalo Bills are at the New York Jets. They're giving the Jets 6.5 points. Buffalo coming off that incredible comeback against the Ravens. I'm taking the Bills. I don't know how you can take the Jets in this game. I know it's in New York, but Buffalo's just too good.
I agree. I think the performance that we saw from Josh Allen, he looks like the MVP coming back to play like the MVP again this year. I mean, it's hard to bet against that guy. So I'm definitely with you on the Bills.
I'm so tempted because of the line here at 6.5 with the Jets. And I do think the Jets, they might only win 5 or 6 games, but they're going to be in every game. I think it'll be like that this week or the week against the Steelers. I just think the Bills are that much better. I think this is a touchdown game. So I got to go with the Bills here.
How do we play out for the Thursday night game? I know I took Green Bay. Did you?
I was the only one who took the Commanders.
All right.
So fell a game further behind there, but although I will say, when they scored, it was 27-18, and then they got the ball back. How do you miss a wide open guy on 4th down, Jaden Daniels? What are you doing to me here? I needed the backdoor cover here.
I'm telling you, the Washington regression is coming.
I think so
that
too.
Team's all that great. I really don't.
Luckily they play the Jets and the Giants and Cowboys 4 times. So there's 4 wins right there.
Speaking of the Cowboys, they're at home against the New York Giants, giving the Giants 4.5. Cowboys 4.5 point favorites. And the Giants are bad.
They were really bad. I'm taking the Cowboys. I have no faith in that Giants team. It's going to be a race between McDaniel and Daboll to see who gets fired first. The way this first game of the season started out for these guys, I think the Cowboys cover. The offense for the Cowboys is at least much better than the defense. The Giants don't have either.
I don't know if there's any truth to this rumor that Daboll went and insisted that he wants to play Jackson Dart, and the owners overruled him. Why would the owners overrule going to your first round draft pick for Russell fucking Wilson? I could see if they said, "Hey, put Jameson." This might be the 2 worst teams in football. But I think the Giants defense is really good. Because the Cowboys defense is terrible. I mean, they played as high of a level they could play against the Eagles, and
they played pretty well, Bob.
If there wasn't a lightning storm, I feel like the Eagles, when they turn that ball over, go down and win that game by 17 points. I don't think there's going to be lightning storm here. That being said, the Giants offense, I will never bet on Russell Wilson for anything, so I'm going Cowboys here.
Yeah,
I'm holding my nose and going Cowboys.
I'm taking the Cowboys too. There's no way the Giants go on the road. I like their defense. Whenever they start my man, I'll start betting on the Giants. But until then, Cowboys.
Shedeur, he's getting traded. See the reports they're not even letting Shedeur run the scout team. I was like, why did you draft him? Why? I don't get
the owner, because he's not the type of quarterback that the coach or the general manager likes.
Yeah,
it's not their type of guy. So, as much as I shit on Shedeur Sanders, it's the worst possible place he could have gone. It's not. They don't want him.
And everybody said take the interview with the Browns on purpose, and they drafted him. It's almost like hey, let's fuck up your career as a thank you.
We talked about this. You could take Shedeur Sanders and turn him into an asset, but the Browns are even blowing that. And give the kid a little bit of preseason tape for people to drool over, and then next year, trade him for a higher draft pick. You can get higher than a fifth if someone's desperate, but they're just burying the kid. So now he's got no value on top of everything else. It's just the Browns being the Browns. It's just that simple.
Yeah, the Browns are bringing every quarterback they ever get along slowly. They've sure worked with Deshaun Watson so far.
I saw something with tape where he's throwing the football now. Deshaun Watson. Does he make a comeback sometime this year? Or is he on the IR?
I thought he was out for the season.
Yeah, I think isn't it an Achilles with him? I don't think he can come back from that early.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's enough Browns talk for this week. Rams are at the Tennessee Titans. They're giving the Titans 5.5. What do we think, guys?
If the Rams didn't have that defense, I would take the Titans here. But the Rams do have that defense. I will be shocked if the guy who was 16 spots above Aaron Rodgers, according to Pro Football fucking Focus, completes even 30% of his passes in this game. I do think Tony Pollard might eat a little bit here because when they're down 8 touchdowns, they'll probably just say, fuck it, run the ball. But yeah, I'm Rams in a walk here. This line is not high enough, in my opinion.
No, I would take the Rams. I would take the Rams as well. That defense is definitely separated for me in this one.
Ooh, that's a big lock, all right.
All right, Trent, I jumped on you there. I was anxious. This is my lock of the week. The Rams in a blowout. I don't the Titans have a couple offensive linemen out for this game too, or at least one? I saw.
Well, hold on. That could only help them.
Roger Jones is coming over to help Dan Moore again.
No, Dan Moore is playing. I think it's some of the other offensive linemen that are out. So yeah, I think the Rams have a pig in this one.
Yeah.
Next up, the Lions are hosting the Chicago Bears. They're giving the Bears 6.5. Boy, this looks like a blown first-round pick for the Bears, doesn't it? Our man Caleb Williams does.
For about a quarter and a half, social media was
right,
live with see, and in the second quarter, everybody's like, "Yeah, we fucking see."
What's the over on when Tyson Badgett becomes a starting quarterback on this team? I say like week 3, week 4.
I think he'll make it to the bye. Ben Johnson probably can't get away with it as a new coach until he lets him completely fail.
Maybe.
I was going to say, I think Caleb actually makes it through the entire season because Ben Johnson's a new coach. I don't think they bench him. A first-round pick, very first pick of the first round, they're not going to bail on him this soon. I don't think, should they? I'm not arguing they shouldn't, but they won't. They should. This kid is not. I got fucking torched for my Caleb Williams takes.
Yeah.
Just saying, fellas. Look where we're at.
Yeah.
Talking about benching it for Tyler Badgett. Throwing it out there.
Well, I feel very strongly about this game.
Be smooth Jimmy's.
I think the Lions are going to cake. I mean, they're going
That's
to
a
walk
big lock,
the
all
Bears
right. But I
at home.
Yeah, I this is my lock of the week. Lions got embarrassed by Green Bay. Everybody's talking about how those coordinators, they were the Phantom Menace. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to go wild in this game. I look, it's a divisional game, so a blowout might be a 10 or 13 point win, but the Lions are just way too fucking good. Then that wasn't representative what we saw last week in Green Bay. The Bears ain't Green Bay. I love the Lions here.
I'm taking the Lions too, in case anybody's wondering.
And
49ers.
Just hold on, just to point out, that was not unanimous. Mr. Korab is picking the Bears to pull the upset.
Was he drunk when he made these picks?
It was 6 in the morning.
Purple drink. Was still having some lingering effects.
Drink, yeah. All right, the San Francisco 49ers are at New Orleans. They're giving the Saints 3 points. This is one of the worst teams in the league, Bob, the New Orleans Saints. I read an article where people are actually accusing them of tanking on purpose to get the first pick in this upcoming draft. Yeah, the 49ers are not a great team, but this is a walk for them too.
Yeah, I agree with you. This one was a pretty easy one to pick. I think the 49ers, even without having their starting quarterback, Mac Jones, is going to be accurate enough for the Shanahan offense, and he's going to be fine.
I should have brought that up. Yeah, Mac Jones will be starting. Purdy's out for a while.
Yeah. I will say, John, on our fantasy podcast the other night, called this. He feels, and if it's a good point. Mac Jones really helped Brian Thomas take off last year. So if you got Ricky Pearsall, might be a good time to play him. That being said, I've heard there's some rumors that Ayuk is either maybe playing this game or definitely back next week. So maybe that shifts a little bit. But yeah, I love the 49ers here.
Ayuk is listed as out right now.
Right.
So he should be out this week. Maybe next week, Ayuk is back.
Yeah,
they could use some. They could use some health luck because they're the most jinx team when it comes to injuries. The 49ers, it's just ridiculous.
Juwan Jennings really not doing anything. Does that contract look bad now for them?
I was never a fan of Juwan Jennings, to be honest with you. I didn't see the hype. He's an okay receiver. People were making out to be this great, wideout. I just didn't see it.
A lot of people, Steeler fans, wanted this kid.
Yeah.
They wanted him here bad.
Because, again, the fit thing. He's a good blocker.
Yeah.
Okay, great. What's the difference between him and Ben Skoranek then? But to me, not much, honestly.
Yeah.
Hey, we accept no Skoranek slander on this podcast.
Another one of the worst teams in the league, Bob. The Miami Dolphins are hosting the New England Patriots. Are they favorites?
Yeah. Pardon the pun, the Dolphin. This is fishy. This is
very
fishy. Why the fuck are the Dolphins favored over the Patriots?
I guess because they're at home, and the Patriots didn't look good week one either. But
yeah, and the Dolphins are traditionally the Patriots don't play well in Miami. So I kind of get that. But man, if the Patriots lose this game, my them making the playoffs pick is in the tank. So I got to take the Patriots here. This is more about hope than reason. But that being said, I don't think Miami is very good.
I love the explanation. That is the kind of hard-hitting breakdown we expect. So I appreciate it.
That's what you get on legendary picks.
I'm actually taking the Patriots in this one as well. I think the Dolphins are just an absolute dumpster fire right now, and the Patriots
really
are working to figure things out. But you got to feel better about the trajectory right now, Drake May, over where Tua is after that last game. I mean, the Colts made him look terrible. So the dumpster fire in Miami. Drake,
it is.
Yeah, Drake.
People are worried about Drake May up here. They are getting concerned. I don't watch the Patriots closely enough to be that concerned about it, but the radio guys here are losing their minds.
Look, I think the Raiders might be better than we think they are. Honestly, after last, before you panic, everybody, it was week one. Relax.
Yeah.
If it's happening in week 4, worry.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't have a great training camp either. So I don't know. I don't follow it that closely.
He's young too. He was very young when he came out. I think he was. If I remember correctly, I think he was the youngest of the group in that like top tier quarterback class. I think he was the youngest because he was 21, just turned 21 before the draft. I think so. I think Drake May is going to be fine, and I think the Patriots cover here. I think they win. I don't think they just cover. I think they win this game pretty much outright.
As much as I honestly like Mike Vrabel as a coach, he has fucked up some quarterbacks.
Who?
He needs Arthur Smith to come back and fix Drake May like he did Tannehill.
Yeah.
All he's ever had is Tannehill, right?
Yeah, they didn't have any.
Yeah, that's all he's ever had.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to take the Dolphins just to be different in this game. Just to be a little different.
Letting us get a pick back here, Dave.
I'm going to zag.
By the way, I forgot. We all trashed the Saints. Mr. Korab is going with the Saints.
Are you kidding me?
I am not. So maybe he had purple drink right after he got off work.
All right. The Arizona Cardinals are at home against the Carolina Panthers, another team that's really, really bad. They're giving the Panthers 6.5. I thought the Cardinals would be better in week 1. They won, but just barely against the Saints. I'm still sticking with them. I'm going to take the Cardinals in this one.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, this is my lock of the week. I think the Cardinals are going to beat the Panthers. I don't believe in Bryce Young. I don't care what the second half stats of last year looked like for that kid. So far, this kid has shown me nothing to say he's a long-term quarterback in the NFL. I don't believe in him. The organization's a train wreck. Ted McMillan can't do anything if Bryce Young can't do anything. I think the Cardinals win this game. Plus, the Cardinals' run game actually looked pretty good. That young kid, that rookie,
yeah,
he looked good. He didn't out-snap Connor, but man, he was freaking productive.
Yeah,
what's his name? Benson? Is it Benson? Is that what his name was?
Yeah,
He had a really, really good game for a backup running back.
Bob, what do you think?
This is a hard one because I go back to last year. The Cardinals are very hard to predict. To me, they're the hardest team to pick. I don't believe in Bryce Young, but this is the kind of game last year when we got on the Cardinals that they would turn around and lay a fucking egg. I'm going Cardinals here because I do think they are moving away from a Kyle Murray-centric offense to a run-centric offense. They've always been effective, sneaky effective running the ball, but I think they have something with Benson here. And Connor should still be the lead back. He's still a good option, but I think they're coming with this Benson kid. And Marvin Harrison, as much as we disparaged him last year, I thought he was overdrafted. I never thought he wasn't a talented wide receiver. I just thought he's not this savior of an offense. Looks like he's figured some things out. So, I think the Cardinals have to win this. The Panthers' defense is so bad.
Yeah,
I didn't think it had to be better than last year when it was all-time bad. Not by much. Not by much. Yeah. They could give up another 500-point season.
This is one of the worst run teams in the league. The ownership, general manager, they're terrible.
Yeah.
They're right up there with the worst in the league.
Yeah,
all right, for sure. Excited about having two Panthers Saints matchups on their television schedule.
That's brutal. That's brutal. The Denver Broncos are traveling to Indianapolis to play the Colts. They're giving the Colts 2.5 points. I think the Colts and Danny Dimes come back to earth against this Broncos defense. I'm taking the Broncos.
I'm going with the Colts.
Took the Broncos.
Colts?
I'm going with the Colts in this one. I liked what I saw. I think that they found something in that defense. That defense is really, really, really underrated. And I think the Broncos saw Bo Nix struggle a little bit last week. And it's going to be interesting to see how he kind of goes against this Colts defense, Colts being at home. Got two really good coaches in the game. This one's going to be a lot of fun to watch, I think. I think the Colts actually come out and win this game.
Yeah,
Bob?
I agree with Trent here. And actually,
Huh?
I think Steichen it gets the better of Peyton here because I actually think he has the better quarterback. I do not believe in Bo Nix. I think we're starting to see
Oh, Bobby.
how good Sean Payton, a coach, was last year and how arrogant Sean Payton will be this year because he is going to think Bo Nix, based off of last year, is Drew Brees. And Bo Nix, he covered for a bunch last year. I do like RJ Harvey. I don't like him in this game. And I don't know that J.K. Dobbins is. Look, all those passes, the Titans last week, they had opportunity. Calvin Ridley and the rest of those idiots in Tennessee couldn't hold on to a ball to save their life. It didn't help that Cam Ward was throwing the ball 185 miles an hour. I mean, Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman, I think they're better weapons. I don't think the Denver defense had a particularly good game last week. They played against a rookie quarterback. I think the weapons here really show up. And if they play like they did last week, I don't even know that this game will be particularly close. I feel like the Broncos are taking a major step back. And I think the Chargers, when we get to them, have taken a major step forward.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a little bit to your point where the Broncos coach got a little arrogant. Sean Payton. I think he made some calls last week that he probably shouldn't have made.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of adjusts that a little bit. And I just think the matchup of the Broncos defense and the Colts offense. I don't hate Daniel Jones as much as a lot of people do, but I think he has a tough game against the Broncos defense.
I'll be interested to see if A.D. Mitchell has a big game in this one.
I think Steichen is going to really protect Jones. I really do. I think Steichen is like Sean Payton was last year. Sean Payton did a lot of things to make Bo Nix look good.
Yeah.
And I think Steichen is going to do the same thing for Daniel Jones this year.
All right. Next up, good game. The Philadelphia Eagles are traveling to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. They're giving the Chiefs 1.5 at home. When was the last time the Chiefs were a home dog? Before
Very rare.
Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
Before Patrick Mahomes, for sure.
That's exactly why I'm taking the Chiefs in this one. I'm taking the Chiefs in this one. I'm riding with them at home. If it wasn't at home, I know what the Eagles did in the Super Bowl. I know the Eagles had a good game week one, but I think I'm taking the Chiefs to have a bounce back in this one and try to get a little bit of revenge from the Super Bowl.
Is Jalen Carter suspended for this game?
No. They counted that week one as his suspension.
Okay.
Which, if you listen to Starkey and Pompiani was really I love Pompiani, but he doesn't get angry often. He was angry about the fact that Carter wasn't suspended.
Should have been.
Probably should have been. Yeah, I tend to agree with him. I think I'm going to the Chiefs just because they're at home. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
I get it. I totally get it. And I do not think the Chiefs are done by any means. I picked them to win the Super Bowl, but a couple of years ago they started out 0-2. They're going to do it again. Jalen Carter is spitting mad, forgive the pun. And I think he has a huge game just like he did in the Super Bowl. And this is not the game they figure it out. I love Xavier Worthy this year, but it doesn't look like he's going to play. But he still could. But even if he does, I think the Chiefs will be a lot better 2 months from now than they're catching the Eagles at the exact wrong time. Look, they didn't have an answer for Saquon. I still don't think they have an answer for Saquon. I also think A.J. Brown is pissed about how he played against Dallas.
That's a developing situation.
I don't think this will get ugly, but I don't think it'll be particularly close either.
Bob, I love your pick for my fantasy. I'll be honest with you. Fantasy is looking real good. I got Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. I love what I'm hearing right now, Bob. I love what I'm hearing.
Exactly. And
David next up,
the Eagles as well.
David took the Eagles. All right. The Minnesota Vikings are hosting the Atlanta Falcons, giving the Falcons 3.5. Starboy, J.J. McCarthy, well on his way to a Hall of Fame career after that great game the other day.
Yeah, he and fucking Kenny Pickett both.
Yeah.
Fucking J.J. McCarthy. Good God.
People were burying that kid in the first quarter, like burying him. Like the memes were out in force. There's some people that look pretty stupid after that. I'm not saying
I don't
he's
know.
going to be a.
Do they look stupid? Do they?
He played well in the second half. You got to give him some credit. He played well.
He does have Justin Jefferson to throw to.
Well,
he can make
hey,
anybody look good.
And he's got the best head coach in football, to me, offensively. KOC is a genius. I'm taking the Vikings. I'm riding it.
It's a tough one because I don't like either quarterback in this game. I was not a Michael Penix fan coming out. I'm not a believer in Atlanta at all. Brian Flores is the difference in this game to me. I'm taking the Vikings. I think it'll be 8-0 with 4 safeties.
This is the best coaching staff in the league, right? With KOC and Flores together.
Yeah.
This is.
I agree.
It's almost not fair.
So I'm going to take the Vikings in this one, but it has nothing to do with the greatest 143-yard fucking performance the quarterback's ever thrown.
Hold your nose and take the Vikings.
The fucking Falcons are just not nearly as good as everybody's making them out to be. So I knew JJ McCarthy lit the world on fire with a whopping 143 yards and a pick 6, but those 2 touchdowns totally erased everything he did wrong for 3 fucking quarters of football. So we're just going to go ahead and ride with that guy, and
absolutely
we'll walk him right in there to being the next fucking Fran Tarkington for Minnesota, and he's just got legend written all over him. Let's go. Let's go.
I could see Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones both rushing for 75 plus in this game.
I agree. I do think the run game is going to be really effective in this one because the Falcons, even though they had those 2 first-round edges, they're smaller edges, and you could see the Minnesota offensive line taking control of this game. I do think that, in all seriousness, could be a deciding factor in this, along with Flores and the defense.
All right, next up we have the Texans hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're giving the Buccaneers 2.5 points. This is another.
I forgot. It was not a clean sweep for the Falcons. Mr. Coro is either tracking to sink right to the bottom or rise to the top.
He took the Falcons?
He took the Falcons.
Oh, boy. David.
Is he another guy who takes Kyle Pitts in his fantasy every year?
Yeah. All right. Texans giving the Buccaneers 2.5. What do we think, guys?
This is a tough game. I really thought the Texans would look better last week, and it was weird. If they score touchdowns, they probably beat the Rams. I don't think they figured out how to use Noel and Higgins just yet. Higgins had an okay game. I thought Noel ran open a lot, and Stroud didn't find him. And I think Bucs defense isn't as good as what they faced last week. I also think the Baker train's getting a little too off the rails. I think they come back down to earth. I think Texans at home. I don't feel good about this, but I'm going to take the Texans at home.
I actually went the Bucs in this one because I think the Bucs offense is better than the Texans offense right now. So I think that the Bucs defense can hold pace with the Texans defense. I think the Bucs defense is a little underrated too, to be honest with you. I like what we saw from Emeka Egbuka pairing up with Mike Evans in this first game. I think the Bucs pull this game out. I think they win. I don't think they just cover. I think they win.
CJ Stroud a little overrated. Is he not as good as people thought he was going to be? I'm starting to think so. I'm taking the Bucs. I think the Bucs went outright too. What did Dave pick?
Hey, he also took the Bucs. I'm the lone supporter.
I want to change my pick.
I'm holding down the Alamo here.
All right. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Chargers giving 3 points to the Raiders at, I almost said Oakland, Las Vegas. Bob, I agree with you. I think the Chargers are in for a big season this year. I think this is a team on the rise.
Yeah. Jim Harbaugh, if anybody can screw it up, he can. But let's face it, give the devil his due. He figured out a way in San Francisco. He cheated
He's a
his
good
way
coach.
in Michigan. Who knows? I mean, he could have Bill Belichick, low key on the staff, training guys up right now. But I don't know that I'm a believer in the Raiders yet. I do like Pete Carroll. I think he's a good coach. And if any guy could give a guy like Harbaugh fits, I do think it's Pete Carroll. I just don't think the Raiders defense is good enough. Quentin Johnston seems to have taken a step forward, but remember this name. I loved him in the draft, Trey Harris. Trey Harris is the difference in the Chargers offense. He's not a huge role, but he does catch important passes. And I think that role will grow as the season goes on. And everybody knows how I feel about Marion Hampton. I think it's a big game for the Chargers. It's sneaky line because it's a division game at Vegas, -3. I think Geno keeps it close, but feels to me like a 10-point game.
Trent, do you agree? Oh, I think Trent froze up there.
Trent's
No,
frozen.
am I back?
Oh, you're back.
Okay, it was like frozen up for a second. All right, I took the Chargers in this one. I actually think that team's for real. That offensive line is fucking fantastic, man. That they have a stud offensive line. This could be. I think you can make an argument. This is the best offensive line in football right now with the Chargers.
That's saying a lot with who they lost.
Yes, for sure. I really like what they have going there in that offensive line. Justin Herbert is a lot better than people give him credit for.
Yeah, I agree.
If Quentin Johnston can catch 1 out of every 3 balls that are thrown to him, this
He played
team can
well.
go somewhere. Yeah, he still had some drops. That dude he cannot catch. But
Yeah, Trey Harris is the future there. I feel like by midseason he's the star.
yeah, but I think the Chargers, I don't think this one's particularly close. I think they run away with this one against the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers. Double-digit win here. Minimum.
Yeah, for sure.
Sid jumping on the bandwagon with Justin Herbert. Oh, not that there should
I
be
agree.
a bandwagon.
Yeah.
Monumental
I agree.
Steelers mistake. You tank for Justin Herbert. And yeah, you love Minka in the 8 games we won. Woohoo, we didn't make the fucking playoffs. Imagine where we'd be with Justin Herbert.
This game's a Monday night game. There's 2 Monday night games again this week. Do you guys like the 2 Monday night games? I'm not a big fan of 2 Monday night games.
I hate it.
The other one's the Texans and Bucks, by the way. I'm not a big fan of that.
I hate it.
All right.
They're trying to do too much with all these games. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's just too much. The Baltimore Ravens are at home, giving the lowly Cleveland Browns 11.5 points. I don't see how the Ravens don't cover this easily. I honestly don't. I don't know how you guys feel.
I'm going to take the Browns because I think the
Oh, my
Ravens are.
goodness.
I think the Browns ain't going to win. They're just going to cover.
In
I think they're
Baltimore?
going to give enough problems, and Baltimore's coming off of that devastating loss. I think there's more problems with Baltimore than people want to admit. I think there's a legitimate shot we win this division this year because I think Baltimore's a really good team. They saw what they came out like, but man, they fell apart. I mean, they fell apart. So I just have a feeling, and I could be way off on this. I struggled with this one. I feel like this ends up being a lower scoring game than what people think because I think both teams try to run the ball a lot.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens are pissed off and they take it out on the Browns to lose that.
Good. I could see this going either direction. It's either going to be the Baltimore wins by 35 or it's going to be this like 12-9 weird field goal fucking game scoring thing where everybody runs the ball and runs the clock out. I don't know.
So last year, the Ravens came off of an emotional, first game, and they played the Colts at home in week 2. Gardner Minshew was down 15 points and won that game. I hate this line. I hate it. And the Ravens, if this was an NFC team, I'd tell you right now, they'd win by 42. You could set a 42-point line. They'd win by 42.
Yep.
The fact that it's the Browns, and the Browns always play Baltimore tough one time.
Yep.
I like the Browns here. I think Flacco is going to have an okay enough game. This is, again, don't think it's going to be an upset. I don't think they're going to win the game. But 11.5 in a division game in September when the Ravens, I do think they're pissed off, but I also think that they have blown more double-digit leads than any other team in football over the last 5 years. NFC team, yeah, give me double digits all day long. Ravens against an AFC team by double digits? Nah, I'm down on the other side.
I just don't see it, guys. The Browns are terrible. I just don't see
They
it.
are terrible.
Next up,
But
Go ahead.
they should have beat Cincinnati.
Yeah.
should have.
I'll say this.
You're right.
I'll say this too. I feel like I don't quote me on this because I know some fucking idiot will put this on X like they did the last time. But I feel like about 4 of the last 6 times the Browns have played really, really well against Baltimore, it's been in Baltimore. They're playing them better away than they are at home. Baltimore's coming up and waxing them at home, and the Browns are playing them tough in Baltimore.
They're still pissed about that move.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're playing Lamar Jackson and company. They're going to get killed. The Bengals are hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're giving them 3.5. Boy, man. I went out on a limb and said the Bengals are going to be really good this year. They did not do anything for my prediction last week, stinking it up against the Browns. Whew. I don't know. You guys go first. I don't know. I'm still.
Well, we'll let Mr. Korb go first. He's
All
on the Jacksonville bandwagon here, and he has taken the Jaguars plus 3.5.
I'm almost tempted after the way they played last week.
I'm going to echo that sentiment. I think the Jaguars ran the ball like crazy and did not exploit the passing game, mostly because there was a huge lightning delay in the game, and they were comfortably ahead. And Etienne was ripping off 10 yards a carry. He's not going to do that against Cincinnati because Carolina's defense might be a little better than Cincinnati. So, assuming Etienne gets 15 carries, he might rush for 4,000 yards in this game. And bottom line is, Trevor Lawrence is not Joe Flacco, Jerry Jeudy, and Cedric Tillman. He's got Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter to throw to. I think this is going to get ugly. I think this is where Zach Taylor's head starts to come off. Is this game? I love the Jaguars big in this one.
Trent?
I gotta say, I've been way off the Bengals bandwagon since way before the season came around. I think that organization has pissed off a lot of their players. I think we saw that come out in week 1. They're not playing together, not playing cohesive like a unit. They do not look like they're an organization that's got their shit together. The Jaguars played well. I think the Jaguars win by 10.
Wow.
I think they win by 10 in this game. And I think Brian Thomas Jr. has a fucking monster game. I'm going on that limb too. Brian Thomas Jr. Plus 125 in receiving yards.
Whoa.
He's going to go off.
I'm going to take the Bengals in a shootout. I think I was just looking at the under over. It's 49.5. I think I'm going to put some money on the over. I think this game's a wild, crazy offensive shootout. And I'm going to stick with my Bengals. I don't feel great about it, but I'm going to do it. What did Dave take? He took the Jaguars?
Yeah. I think you're the lone Bengal.
You're on the
All right.
Bengals island.
I guess I am. I don't feel great about it. Let me just say that. All right. The game of the week. The Steelers are at home, giving the Seattle Seahawks 3 points. The silence is deafening. If this was...
Let's let Mr. Korb go first. He didn't give us a score, but he's got the Steelers covering. And he didn't say why. Maybe it was just a gut feeling. But for those of you who didn't follow last year and who are following now, David's actually usually pretty spot on picking Steelers games.
Yeah.
I think that this game is a game where the defense has to play better. Seattle's run game is really good. I think that Seattle will score because of that run game. I'm going Pittsburgh 27-17 in this one. I think Sam Darnold gives us the ball a couple of times, and that's going to be the difference.
Bob?
All right. I also agree there's going to be a Sam Darnold turnover here. I don't know that it's an interception. I think it's a strip sack from TJ. I do think the running game gets going a little bit here. I think Aaron has another good game, That's spectacular. PFF will probably make him the 85th ranked quarterback in the NFL over this.
No doubt.
But this is a different Steelers team to me. It just feels different. And I feel like DK is going to be out for blood, but I think that's exactly why he won't blow up in this game, is because Seattle's going to do everything they can to not let DK Metcalf beat him. And this is going to be a game where we see Calvin Austin, Jonnu Smith, Pat Fryermuth, Jalen Warren really eat, and the rest of the league have to go, hey, wait a minute, are these guys actually better than we thought they were? I don't think it's quite as high scoring as last week because I do think they'll be able to run the ball in the second half and put it in the tank. I'm gonna say 24-9 Steelers.
24-9.
Under over is 40.5 in this one. If this was any other quarterback than Aaron Rodgers, I would be taking the Seahawks this week. I think this is one of those Mike Tomlin Stigger games.
Yeah.
You can smell it from a mile away.
Yeah.
Where he can't figure out, what's going on. Mike McDonald's defense, he's confused. Shits go sideways at home. I just think Aaron Rodgers is too good. As long as they can keep him upright and he finishes the game. I don't know if they cover, though. Yeah, all right. I'm going to say Steelers 20-10. They end up covering. Just because I believe Sam Darnold's going to cough the ball up in this game a couple times.
Yeah. You could easily see what Bob's saying with the strip sack, and I could see an interception coming this way, too. He's going to force something to like Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp's not going to have a step on his man, and somebody's going to step in front of that throw. You can just see something coming from that.
Yeah, that's a great point. If he didn't seem to force it too much last week against San Francisco, and really, I mean, in my opinion, Brock Purdy. I know Dave doesn't agree with this, but I think San Francisco actually might be better off right now without Brock Purdy because, I mean, yes, if their kicker makes a couple of kicks, that's not a close game, but Brock Purdy threw some horrible interceptions. I mean, he threw it to Pearsall 3-on-1. The guy was triple covered, and he underthrew the ball. Ernest Jones was like, look what I found twice. I mean, Purdy was not good in that game. So, yeah, I do think Seattle this will be I feel like the Steelers will pull away in the second half. This will probably be like a 10-6 game at halftime, but then I feel like Steelers score a couple of touchdowns with off of a turnover, and that's the difference.
I actually was like right with Dave on this. Like when I started looking at it first, and I'm like, this feels like the game Tomlin loses that he shouldn't lose. But then I started thinking to myself, I'm like, this also feels like the game where Aaron Rodgers just makes a play that we haven't had a quarterback make, and that's what keeps us kind of ahead of the curve on this and prevents that loss. That's kind of where my mind was at with it.
Yeah, I would caution Steeler fans, don't be surprised if this game's a lot closer than you think. This is going to be one of those nail biter things. Like I said, it's Aaron Rodgers is the difference. It's the first legit quarterback we've had in such a long time, and I think he pulls games like this for us out.
Yeah. It is not going to be a blowout. This is not going to be a blowout at all.
No chance. And I think it's going to go under too. 40.5's low, but I think it's going to be a low scoring game.
Could be.
Well, the defense, I'm expecting a big game from the defense. They've heard these stats all week. I mean, it's basically been a year now of you suck against the run, and you're playing a dynamic run team. Yes, we could continue to suck against the run, but if ever they were going to rise up and play home opener, renegade going in the fourth quarter, I mean, yeah, I think Seattle will eat a little bit in the first half, but I think in the second half they come out of the locker room fired up. They might crucify Terrell Austin at halftime of this game, so we'll see what happens.
You're hearing good things about that rookie Gray Zabel too, right? He's supposed to be playing pretty well, so we'll see. If they get the run game going
out of the draft, I thought he was the best guard in the draft.
If they get this run game going, it's going to be ugly, nail-biting, one of those games. I don't know.
Which, by the way, why is North Dakota State not a top team? I mean, every year now they're putting 3-4 guys in the pros who turn out to be monsters.
Yeah, they got a pretty good program there.
Well, they win their division almost every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Albert says
maybe we should move them up. They could probably replace somebody in the Big Ten.
49ers had 120 yards of yak on Seattle. Hopefully they can keep up the yak from the Jets game. Yeah, that's going to be one of the big keys of the game.
that is. Without Witherspoon too, that's their sticky corner. You think that we have a good chance of that, even where he's not going to be in the back end to chase guys down with his speed. Like you would think,
Steelers don't have great.
Everything's lining up for the yak. Come on, DK. Like, I mean, how many yards does yak did DK have?
Aside from
he had a
DK's.
ton of yak. Jonnu Smith last year had a ton of yak. If you can get him out in the open field and create some play design for him, I mean, Calvin Austin is a slant route away from pulling away. I mean, if he can get off the press coverage, you get him moving in motion. You get him. Well, they did. I mean, if you looked at what Arthur Smith did, they hit him behind. I talked to Bob a couple times. Like he was behind. They were hiding him behind Washington and Falatanu a lot in motion, and he was releasing between them, and like no one knew where the hell he was at. You can't see him behind these guys.
Can't see him at all. No. That's a good strategy.
He had some really good releases off that. I saw that 3 different times in that game, and one of them was that touchdown. So, and I don't think the catch down the sideline wasn't out of that motion, but I think he did run motion on that same play as well, though. So, they can get him moving to where the press coverage is less of an issue.
This is the kind of game, I picked them 12-5 before the season, and to win the division. You want to win the AFC North, you have to win this game.
Yeah. This is a game you got to have for sure. All right, guys, we've gone kind of long here. Anything else before we get out of here?
No, not at all. Other than we'll be back to our normal schedule next week.
Yes. Apologize for the weird start, but it was unavoidable. So, guys showed up in the chat. Thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. That really helps us out a lot. Until Monday night, and hopefully a Steelers win. Thanks for listening to the Steelers Sanctuary Podcast.
See ya.
Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.